Hey guys, welcome to another podcast with Neck Roots. I'm Kid James.
Austin Davis.
And today, what are we talking about?
I don't know. What are we talking about today, kid?
You know what? There's lots to talk about. I was actually doing something interesting. I was going back through some of our old episodes, and we've got 70-something, right?
Oh, yeah, dude. We got a lot. 60-something, I think.
And I was just taking some time and going back through, and, you know, it's interesting to go back and see where you started and where you ended up, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you're going.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I was just plugging through, and I started back at one, and what I realized by the time I got to the 10th one, I was like, man, there's some juice in this, in each episode. There's some really important things. And if you're anything like me, so we go to a movie, and dude, it's been like this for a minute. I don't know what's wrong with the front part of my brain, but I might need to have it checked. But we'll go to a movie, and we'll see this movie. I'll be like, that's a good movie. And we'll roll out of there and talk about the movie for 10 minutes. 2 weeks later, if it comes out on rent and we queue it up because my son hadn't seen it, he wasn't with us, and we watch the exact same movie.
Yeah.
Different location, same movie, different location, right? We're watching it at home, and I'll say, have I seen this movie? Legit. My wife will be like, babe, we just went to this movie. Like, we saw it in the theaters less than a month ago. And I'll be like, this exact one?
This one?
And she'll be like, yeah, this one, dummy.
Oh, my gosh, man.
And then she goes, just watch for a minute. You'll get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's all new.
There's a few that I can remember,
Yeah.
The good ones, like Rocky.
Oh,
5,
sure. Yeah, you can't forget those.
Where the Red Fern Grows. And
oh, yeah.
The Man from Snowy River.
Oh, those good ones.
Just good ones.
Yeah.
I can remember them.
Yeah.
But like Transformers or something I'm watching, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I know who Bumblebee is, but what episode? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. and
so, given that that's the way my brain works, I'm like, you know what? There's some good stories and some very good, powerful and hope-fulfilling stories and just comments and content, if you will, in some of those episodes. And even though we're the ones that did them, I'm like, man, that was good, and it lifted me. And I thought, you know what? We should do a throwback just to a few of our select stories, right?
Yeah. Because there's dozens, man. There's dozens. And for me, sometimes the second time you hear something, you get something different out of it.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's important. I mean, if it was important then and you listen to it months later, I mean, we're talking 8-9 months ago. I'm listening to stuff that's 8-9 months ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's good. I'm going to make a plaque that says that. I'm like, you know what? Instead of that, we should take the opportunity to do something different. Different is good.
Yeah.
And throw some of these stories back at you because, you know what? If you've heard them once and you're anything like me, hearing them the second time, you're going to get something different, like you said.
Yeah.
Or it's going to mean something different to you because you're at a different place in your life. But all of it's just to build hope and keep you pushing forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to throw it back to episode 1.
Yeah.
Right, let's go all the way back there because there was some kickers in that one.
Yeah, there was. And you know what? There's a story about my buddy's hunting dog. And you know what? Watch this. Watch this with us, man. This one's good.
All right. There was a story that I'm reminded of, Kit, and you told me this story a little while ago about a dog, a wounded dog, right?
Yep. So Jack Christensen told me this story about his hunting dogs, and he loves hunting dogs. And it actually goes along with what we're talking about here. And here at the Neck Roots Ranch, we got hunting dogs.
We got a couple of pups, we got some dogs.
We got hunting dogs, so we like hunting dogs. And so this story really resonated with me, and it brought it home. And Jack, he loves hunting dogs. And so he's raising these hunting dogs, and he has this hunting dog. And you go through a few dogs, but when you get that dog that is just born to hunt, that's his mission in life. That's what he does. He is born to please his master and hunt. He was so excited about this dog. And so I remember he tells his son-in-law about this dog. He says, man, this dog is so good. He goes, this dog is better than any dog I've ever had. I come home from work, that dog is just sitting there waiting for me. He's so excited. He'll do whatever I tell him. I've had him out on the field, and I've had him on the birds. He's got a soft mouth. He's every command I give him is spot on, right? He carries out his mission of what he was born to do and what he was become to do, right?
Yeah.
flawlessly. He says, I can't wait till you see this dog hunt. So they plan a trip out to the fields, and they go to this hunting club. And all the way there, the son-in-law, he's kind of a clown, and he's, teasing his father-in-law, going, Jack, this dog ain't gonna hunt. Watch, he's probably gonna go out there and lay down and lick his paw and da-da-da. And so he's like, oh, you're in for a surprise, son. You wait. I'm gonna point, and that dog's gonna motor out there and do exactly what he's commanded to do. And so they get out there in the fields. They get to the hunting club, and he goes, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna see what field we're on. And he let his dog jump out and run around and use the bathroom and da-da-da. Normally, he never lets his dog do that. You always got to keep him on a leash. But this dog's so good that he let him go, right?
Gotcha.
So he's running around, and then he gets what field they're in, what birds they're on, and he comes back and he says, all right, get in the truck. The dog didn't want to jump in the truck. He goes, get in the truck. I mean, when he so much as started the sentence of get in the truck before, dog got in the truck. So he wasn't responding well, and so he helped him into the truck, and then he drove out to their field, and he's like, okay, opens the kennel, get out of the truck. The dog didn't want to get out of the truck. And so he had to kind of coax him out of the truck. And the son-in-law's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah,
right?
thought he had him. He's like, eating crow. Your hunting dog won't even get out of the truck.
And Jack's going, what is going on, dude? I've been out here several times training this dog, and this dog's spot on. And stays right by him. He's a very obedient dog. So they get out to the field, and they're at the edge of the field, and he's giving the dog commands, and the dog's not responding at all. And he goes, you know what, guys, I don't know what's going on. This has never happened before. Why don't you guys go back to the clubhouse, give me a minute to work with the dog. Maybe it's because there's a crowd here. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that.
Sure.
He was embarrassed.
Oh, I could imagine.
And so he gets mad at his dog, and they're walking along the fence line, and there's a bird that someone shot that maybe they forgot to pick up. So he gave him the command to go down and get the bird. And he had to be very stern and give him another, a couple. He had to say it a couple times. Dog didn't want to go. Dog's like, not today, buddy. So finally he makes him go get it. And that dog brings that bird up and just drops it by his feet and collapses, like lays down. He goes, that's it. We're going home. Right. So grabs a bird, goes back to the truck, tells him get in the truck, won't get in the truck, won't jump in the truck.
Man.
And that dog used to be like Michael Jordan. He'd jump from the foul line to get in the truck. I mean, the dog was in it to win it, right?
Yeah.
So he picks him up and kind of, roughly puts him in his kennel and goes and gets his brother-in-law and his friends, and they drive home. They heckle him for 45 minutes on the way home.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right?
I'm sure it was a hard ride.
Oh, dude,
man.
he took a bath.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
So they're poking him hard, and he gets home, and he does what he always does when he gets home, and that is he brushes his dog down, checks for ticks or burrs or whatever, right? So he's rubbing his hands on his dog, and he feels something wet as he gets under the belly, and it is blood. And
man.
And this dog's bleeding, and there's a 6-inch gash, and it was deep, and long and deep. It was bad. This dog's bleeding profusely, and so just imagine how Jack felt, right? Here's this dog that used to do, so obedient, did everything he was supposed to do, right? And he's not following any of his commands. He doesn't know what's wrong, so he's getting mad. His first reaction, he's getting mad and he's embarrassed. Those are his first two emotions, and he's angry.
Yeah.
And humiliated. So he takes him to the vet, and the vet checks him out, and Jack's like, is he going to be okay? He's going to be okay. He goes, this wound is so deep that we can't stitch it up. And he said, why not? He said, this wound's so deep that if we stitch it up from the outside, it'll never heal properly. And this dog will always have issues, and it'll always be vulnerable to be cut open there. It'll be a weak spot. So this dog needs to heal from the inside out.
Wow.
And he goes, what do I do? How do I care for my dog?
Yeah.
And so he told him how to care for his dog. He takes him back home, and that dog just had to he was on...
Take it easy for a long time,
He was on bed rest. The interesting thing about this story, Austin, is we look at the world when people aren't doing what we want them to do, or people are performing badly or bullying.
According to our expectations.
Yeah, according to the world's expectations, they're not a bad person.
Yeah.
They're not behaving badly because they want to, right? They're wounded.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. And the interesting thing about this story is we need to heal from the inside out.
Yeah.
Right? We take the pressures, we take the popular media's direction and whatever's trending and whatever's hip or whatever's cool, da 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 da. And that's from the outside in.
Yeah.
But when we truly get real with ourselves, when we remember our roots, we have to heal from the inside out. So this is the thing. If you got kids, coworkers, people around you, and they're acting out, instead of pointing it out or bullying them or making fun of them, guess what? They're wounded, man.
Yeah.
They need to plug into the power station. They need help. They need healing. And so when we talk about this, Austin, it's such a big deal, and it hits home for me because there's so many pressures and so much noise in this world, right?
Yeah.
And they're telling us, and just look around, they're telling us what direction we should be going. And it seems like we don't even respond. We're just going.
Yeah.
I mean, I was on the freeway the other day in my truck. I'm looking around, and all these dudes are riding shotgun in their own trucks, and they don't even know where they're going. They're just going wherever the world's trying to tell them to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense.
I'll decide.
Yeah.
Right? We need to decide. So we need to take our power back. Remember our roots, and it doesn't matter who drives. No, it doesn't. But it does matter who drives you.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. And I'm reminded, as we talk about this healing from the inside out, right? And I think all of us have been there at one time or another, or maybe we're there right now, right? Is that the world is a hard place to be in and to heal yourself. The world teaches you to carry your grief around, to carry your shame around, right? And that was our first episode here is about being different, which we talked about a little bit, getting back to your roots and being true to yourself, but also shedding our shame, which the world will teach you to be ashamed of so many things, right? I think of an example would be when you're a little kid and you walk around in your diaper and you don't even think there's no shame as a little kid walking around in your diaper, whatever. But as an adult, there's no way you're going to walk around and you're not going to walk around in a diaper as an adult, but you're not going to walk around in your underwear. And I think, it's not appropriate, but for the sake of the example here is that the world will teach you and will groom you to be ashamed of who you are and what you've done. And then the world will require you to carry that around and let that define yourself. And I think the most important thing that we can do is we're healing from the inside out. We've got to get rid of that shame. We've got to be able to forgive ourselves, and we've got to let those things go. And like you said earlier, right, become a better us tomorrow than we are today. And we do that a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
But that story really reminded me of the purpose of our episode today.
Well, and I appreciate you bringing that up because I look at it like I always tell my kids, gosh, I lost this wrestling match and it was tough and I should have won that match or whatever. I tell them, man, you're putting rocks in your backpack, bro.
Yeah.
Those rocks don't belong there. I mean, if you're not taking them to the destination, they're not going to add value to wherever you're taking them. Get rid of them.
Get rid of them.
Right. And so I think we have regret. I think we have, all these shame and
sorrow,
all these failures. And man, failures are just good experiences. That's it. We just need to take those failures as learning lessons and experience and put those in our backpack. Because if we put those in our backpack, that way we're putting feathers back there. That's a feather in your cap.
Yeah.
Right?
No kidding.
The rocks are heavy.
Yeah.
So we have rocks from the world. We have pressures, obligations from the outside world that tell us what we need to be, and we can fight against that in our own minds. But the reality is we put more rocks in our backpacks than the world does.
True.
We got theirs and we got ours.
Yeah.
Frick, dude. Your legs got to be like He-Man. You know
No
what
kidding.
I mean?
Yeah.
So the world does put a lot of pressure on us, and the one thing that they're anxious to teach us or tell us what to do. And that's one thing with my boys is, you know what? If you're not teaching your kids or teaching by example those around you, right, that matter most, the world's anxious to teach them.
No kidding. Chomping at the bit.
Yeah. But the world's also anxious to teach us, so we need to decide which direction we're going. So I used to always tell the kids, hey, when you're following the masses, the M is silent, so be careful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't follow, lead, man.
Lead.
Right? Be you.
Yeah.
So, and then as we talk about Neck Nation and this story about being wounded, I don't care where you're at in your life. Everybody's at a different spot. We can judge, we can point, we can try to figure out, we can label. I think everybody was born with a labeler. We'll label that guy neck, or that guy this, or that guy that. But let's label ourselves, man.
Yeah.
That labeler only goes one way, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Austin, he's evil Knievel, he's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We get labeled, and my kids, as they were growing up, they'd feel bad. Oh, so and so labeled me this or said this or whatever that made me feel bad, and I said that's so good. They said why? I said, man, if they ain't talking, they ain't going fast enough.
Yeah.
No matter what, they're going to talk. So let's give them a show.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's going to talk. So that means you're on the right track.
We're on the right track.
We need to forget about all that noise, man, and pay attention to the within. Because if we're going to heal within, but we're also going to build within, right? And so I think that's what we want to do. That's the power we're going to deliver. Give some suggestions, some ideas, some inspiration, some hope to help heal from the inside out.
I love it.
Right? Hey, we need it.
Yeah.
We're not talking to Neck Nation.
We're part of Neck Nation.
We are Neck Nation.
Yeah.
Right? So, and no matter where you're at, and I mean, if you've gone through these storms and this and that, you count yourself lucky, number one. But keep growing, keep building, because the things that we've been through, Austin, and you know this from experience, you're in a dark, dark, dark space, and you think, man, how am I even worth going from here to there?
Yeah.
The reality is, those people that have more bumps and more bruises and more sorrows that they've traveled through and journeyed through, they are the ones that can get eye level and emotionally connect, and they will be the key that unlocks someone else's prison, right?
Yeah.
And I've realized if you just treat everybody you meet on the street like they are in the darkest place of their whole life, like they are in despair, even though they go, I'm all right.
Yeah.
If you treat them like they're in the darkest place, the darkest side of the moon or whatever,
Yeah.
90% of the time you're right.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad?
Isn't that it? Yeah. That is. That's terrible.
Yeah. So we need to get out and spread some hope.
Spread some hope and get some inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's powerful. And that's why we invite everybody, man, every walk of life, all hands on deck. You ever seen, that Pay It Forward show, and one person can make a difference, and one person, you think about it, are they worth it? Yeah, they're worth it. Can you help? Yeah, you can help. Everybody has. I mean, you can get in where you fit in. It don't matter where it is. There's a need for it.
Yeah.
Let's help.
Let's do it.
Because you're not truly successful unless you're helping someone else become successful.
You know what? I love that. There's, as we talk about healing and we talk about helping other people become successful to find our own success, you also find your own healing, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, if you've got problems, issues, or whatever it is that you're going through, if all you're focusing on is your problems and your issues, they don't seem to go away.
Yeah.
But if you can help other people solve their problems and your issues, for whatever reason, and this has been my experience, I'm sure it's been your experience as well, that your problems and your issues they end up taking care of themselves. They should help other people take care of theirs. So let's do this, Neck Nation. Let's help each other, right?
Yeah.
Let's create hope and inspiration for all those around us.
There's power in it. There's power in helping people.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you go to do service, guess what? You get more out of it than the person you're serving.
Yeah. Yep. I believe that.
And if we realize that, I mean, that's obviously not the reason you want to do it, but it's a double-sided contract, even though you don't think it is.
Yeah.
So the reality is, guys, is we are bleeding on people that didn't even cut us. We need healing.
Yeah.
Right? Like it or not, I'm going to say it. We need a nut up, and we need healing. I do too.
Yeah,
right?
Me too.
So
all of us.
I'm not immune to it. So Austin, in interest of time, I think we've done a good job explaining neck roots.
Yeah.
Neck Nation, where we're going. Man, I got a poem that I would like to read. This is raw. We get in here and we just talk and we have conversation. There's no script. We're just ripping and running, and where it goes, it goes.
Yeah.
But I don't want to read anything, but this is something that goes along with it. I think it's powerful, and I'd like to read it.
Okay, let's hear it.
But I'm getting old, bro, so I got to put my cheaters on.
Put your cheater readers on. There you go.
I want you to listen to the words here. So, Neck Nation, it applies to everybody. No matter where you're at, it applies to you, right? And
there you go.
And it's powerful. So, and it's called the oak tree. A mighty wind blew night and day. It stole the oak tree's leaves away. then snapped its boughs and pulled its bark until the oak was tired and sark. But still the oak tree held its ground, while other trees fell all around. The weary wind gave up and spoke, "How can you still be standing, oak?" The oak tree said, "I know that you can break each branch of mine in two, and carry every leaf away, shake my limbs and make me sway. But I have roots stretched in the earth, growing stronger since my birth. You'll never touch them, for you see, they are the deepest part of me. Until today, I wasn't sure of just how much I could endure. But now I've found, with thanks to you, I'm stronger than I ever knew." So, I mean, it's all about roots,
Yeah.
right? And the interesting thing is, what sticks out to me, Austin, is what we just talked about. The wind is the world.
It is. Yeah.
Right.
And the world is going to put pressure on us. The world is going to try and manipulate us. It's going to try and tell us how to think and how to act, right?
Yep.
And we're going to need those roots
Sink
to
them
keep
deep.
us grounded, sink them deep.
And the oak tree right here, you know what he said? "Thanks. Try again. I'll decide." Right?
Yeah.
And because I've been through it, Austin, you know, I wear this is the oak tree, right? These are my
That's
roots.
right. Yeah.
I keep them close to my heart just to remember and vow to never forget. I'm going to be who I am, whether the world likes it, loves it, leaves it, shoves it. I don't care.
There
Right?
you go. Awesome.
So-
What a great message for Neck Nation. So, Neck Nation, if you like this message, if you love being plugged into the Neck Nation Power Station, like this video and subscribe to the podcast. The more you like it and the more subscribers we have, the more people we can reach and the more people we can help sink their roots deep, right? Sink your roots deep, Neck Nation. But for now, bless up.
Bless up, Neck Nation. We're out.
Let's go.